Hello there, and welcome to this video where we're not going to be talking about them, we're going to be talking about them. I know other people have done these videos, however, I keep getting requests from people to do factions, so I'll do the factions that have been released as well, because, you know, why not? So we're going to do my favourite faction, which is the Warriors of Chaos. I just really like big burly blokes. Hey, hold on. As you can tell, I'm quite a big chap myself, so I just kind of, I don't know, they kind of sit quite well with me. So anyway, the Chaos Warriors army list is pretty good. I'm quite happy with it. I'm quite happy with everything it does, really. So first off, like usual, I think if we start with the special rules, that gives you the flavour of the army. And yeah, then we'll move on to like individual war scrolls afterwards. So the first rule is Chaos Armour. Basically heroes have inbuilt ward saves. And wizards with the Chaos Armour special rule, so all Chaos Wizards can wear armour without penalty. Because sort of characters have vaguely magical armor, but it doesn't really confer. It confers wards basically, so it's, you know, it's pretty good magical armor, to be honest. I really like this rule in that essentially normal hand weapons are magic attacks and armor piercing. So pretty much all of your Chaos Warriors, chosen whatever, have this, and all the characters have this rule. So just a Boggo standard hand weapon has AP1 and magical attacks, which, you know, is pretty good. Yeah, I really like that. Gaze of the Gods. This is excellent. This is very characterful. So basically, during the command sub phase of their turn. So, just to remind you, in your strategy phase, which is the first phase of the game, there are 4 sub-phases. There's start of turn sub-phase, there's command sub-phase, there's essentially cast enchantments and hexes, and then there's rallying. Right, roll to rally troops. So those are your 4. You work through everything in each phase before you move on to the next, like a sub-phase. So, after you've done your start of turn stuff, you then move on to roll on this table for every character that you have in your army. Every character that has the Gaze of the Gods special rule, which is pretty cool. So 1 is basically becomes stupid. 2 and 3 is something cool happens until your next start of turn sub phase. So this is through your turn and through your opponent's turn that these are effect. That's 3's +1 toughness, 2's +1 initiative, both pretty good. And then 4 through 6 are for the rest of the game. So 4 is +1 weapon skill, 5 is +1 attack, and 6 is +1 strength and leadership. So that's pretty good. There is a magic item, which I'll talk about now because it's very relevant to this, called Favour of the Gods, which is single use, costs 5 points, and you can reroll the d6. And it's extremely common, so everybody can have the Favour of the Gods. So that's good. Other special rules are marks of chaos. So basically everybody can have a mark of chaos. So if it's got the mark of chaos undivided in its special rules, it can swap it for a points cost with another mark. Undivided rolls failed fear, panic or terror tests. So that's pretty good already. Khorne gets frenzy, which I think is excellent for like knights, because, you know, you get an extra attack and you're immune to psychology, so you can screen your knights with dogs. The dogs might panic through them, but they don't care because they're immune to psychology because they've got frenzy. and then your knights have been saved from a turn of shooting. Mark of Nurgle. Enemy models attacking units with the Mark of Nurgle have to reroll hit rolls of 6. I've actually tried this in a game, and it's way less effective than I thought it was going to be. But, you know, to be fair, that was up against a Bretonnian Duke on a Royal Pegasus that just, like, killed... I think he killed, like, 7 Chaos Warriors in one round of combat. It was insane. He had this lance which had like 3 AP. It was horrible. Mark of Slaanesh, +1 initiative during the first round of any combat. They basically get elven reflexes, and they also automatically pass panic tests. So that's pretty good. I quite like that, actually. Given how impactful initiative is in combat, that basically makes your Chaos Warriors like initiative 5 in the first round of combat and immune to panic. Arguably that's slightly better than Nurgle, because at least you get to swing first, maybe? Don't know. Mark of Tzeentch is very cool. Gives them flaming attacks, magic resistance 1, and if a character... A wizard, with a mark has joined that Mark of Tzeentch unit, which has a unit strength of 10 or more. So remember, that's 5 knights or 10 warriors. They get +1 to cast. So that's pretty good. As we'll see later, you can essentially make a level 5 wizard. And that's the end of the special rules. There is a law of chaos, so wizards can take these instead of a default spell, the signature spell. So Chaos Undivided is a 21-inch hex. Target enemy unit is -1 move, and if it's cast a 9 or more, -2 move. 21-inch hex is pretty good, actually. That's okay. You're going to probably be able to get that off in a game. Acquiescence, which is Mark of Slaanesh. Until the end of the combat phase, target enemy is subject to strike loss. It's a hex, 12 inches range. You can't cast it on a unit that's already in combat. So it's until the end of the combat phase. It's weird wording, isn't it? Until the end of the combat phase. Bizarre. Fleshy Abundance, which is Nurgle, which is a remains in play. So essentially, your opponent is only cast on 7. So in your opponent's like cast hexes and enchantments part of their command phase, they can. Sorry, I've just got the backing music on my speakers. And it's getting a bit loud. Hopefully it's alright, because I've got it balanced through the audio mixer on the video recording thing. So Fleshy Abundance, they get +1 toughness, so it's basically until the end of the turn, because your opponent's probably going to get rid of it, because it remains in play. So that would have been better had it been until your next start of turn subphase, blah blah blah. But, you know, it's pretty cool. And it's cast on self, so you can put your wizard... Your wizard's actually half decent in combat as well, so you can put your wizard in the unit, cast that, you get toughness 5 Chaos Warriors, which is pretty awesome. Blue Fire, D6 +3, strength 4 hits, AP 2, flaming attacks. That's wicked, because it's 18-inch range, so that's pretty good. Cast on a 9, so not tremendously reliable, but like I said, you can make yourself a level 5 wizard, so it's probably okay. In the game I played at the weekend, I managed to get it off like twice and killed like 6 things with it, which was okay. Assailments, by the way, are amazing. I thought they would be in theory, and then in the game they just proved invaluable. Assailments are great. So that's the Law of Chaos, and then For some reason, the Brayherds fluff. Oh no, they've put these in the wrong subheading. Interesting. Right, Champions of Chaos are your sort of fighty characters. So you start off with the Chaos Lord, and you can work your way down. He's got high weapon skill, he's got high strength, high toughness, 4 wounds is I think above average for a Lord-like character. Initiative 6 is pretty good, 5 attacks is excellent, 9, it's what you'd expect. It's got all the weapon options you'd expect. Lord has full plate and the other heroes have heavy, which is something that might catch people out. Apart from on Chosen, Lords are the only place that full plate exists. You can't upgrade your other characters to have full plate either, which is a bit odd considering Chosen have it, and you'd have thought Exalted and Aspiring Champions are like a step above Chosen, so you'd have thought they'd have been able to upgrade it, but no. They got the Chaos Armour, so they get a 5 at ward there, that's what that means. Got Ensorcer weapons, they can roll and gaze the God table, got Rallying Cry, and can upgrade to have one of the other marks for relatively cheap. And Chaos people have this Gifts of the Gods bit, which is in addition to magic items. You then got Demon Princes, which is like a monstrous infantry sort of thing. You can upgrade it to a level 4 wizard. I'm not sure about them because it's only got 4 wounds. It can take magic items and Gifts of Chaos. It's got Chaos Armor 4+, which means it's got a 4 at ward, which is a really good ward save, but it's only got 4 wounds. And it's unstable and warp spawned, so it's got a 5 up regen as well, built in, but if you're being attacked by magic weapons, warp spawned means you don't get your regen save. You get your ward, but you don't get your regen. It's also got Gaze of the Gods, which is pretty cool. So, I don't know. You can give it heavy armor, which you probably would because it's only 6 points. You can give it fly 9, which again is pretty good, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I think the magic levels, are a bit expensive. But hey ho. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Then you got your sorcerers. Again, I think every army needs a level 4 sorcerer. I think it's pretty mandatory. So this is how you make a level 5, right? You take a Sorcerer Lord, make it level 4, give it Mark of Tzeentch, put it in a unit with unit strength 10, so it gets +5 to cast. And then also you can give it a magic item called something familiar, spell familiar, there you go. The owner knows one more spell, so you've got 5 spells, you've got +5 to cast, so you're effectively a level 5 wizard, which is pretty cool. You're allowed all the mounts you'd expect. There is a Chaos Dragon, there's a Manticore. You got them in a Chaos Chariot and a Gorbeast Chariot, which is a pretty cool upgrade option. I've gone for a Manticore for my Chaos Lord because it's a bit cheaper. Gives him an extra 4 wounds, so he goes up to 8 wounds. And the Manticore does, a few extra attacks. Willful Beast is a bit of a downgrade. So during the start of turn sub-phase, model must make a leadership test. If it's passed, blah blah blah. If it's failed, the mount becomes subject to frenzy. So it has to charge if it's in range. But to be honest, if you've got a Lord on a Manticore, you're going to want him in combat, So if it can charge, it probably should be doing. Chaos Dragon on your Lord, you're up to 500 points pretty much, and you haven't even taken any options yet. However, you are toughness 6, and you do have 10 wounds, so that's pretty good. Sorcerer Lord has 3. Oh, that's interesting. So you can put a Sorcerer Lord on a dragon, but then it becomes 9 wounds, so it's the unit strength 9, so it doesn't get the +1 to cast. Unless there's something somewhere where you can give yourself you can actually, can't you? Gifts of Chaos. There's one of those. I'm sure one of those is an extra wound. No? No. No, it's not, is it? There's no +1 wound. Oh, I could have sworn I saw a +1 wound something somewhere. Maybe it was in the Beast of Chaos thing where you could get yourself an extra wound. That's annoying. Yeah. No. Chaos Dragons are pretty good. I think they're one of the better dragons in the game. They're a bit stronger, so they're like a top level dragon. They give you full plate armor, which is pretty good. And they have 2 different breath weapon attacks. So one strength 4 AP 1, and flaming, which is great, and the other one, fumes of contagion, is only strength 2, but no armor saves. So I mean, you can't use both, but you can. You got a bit of flexibility basically. So if you're up against like a unit of like Grail Knights, you probably use a fume of contagion because you can probably kill 2 or 3 of them just with that, which would be wicked. Dark Fire, that's probably more for like a standard unit with like heavy armor and stuff, because the AP is good, but the strength, getting more against dwarves, that would be pretty good. So that's your characters really. They're pretty basic. There is a lot of flexibility, so if you've got like a Marauder Chieftain or whatever, you could call it an Aspiring or an Exalted Champion if you want. So you have got a lot of flexibility in terms of like how you want to build, like thematically how you want to build out. Yeah. Demonic Mounts are interesting. I'm not sure whether I like them. Yeah. Chaos Warriors are, pretty standard. Weapon skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4. So they're tough, they're strong, they've got good weapon skill, they've got a pretty good initiative. They're pretty good. They can have marks. There's nothing special about them though, really. They're just really good. They don't have loads of cool rules that make them do X, Y, Z. They're not stubborn or anything. They're just really good. You can take Chosen, which costs you an extra 4, which gives you an extra attack each, which is, that's helpful. The other thing that Chosen can do though is they can have full plate for another 2, so that's 19 each now, and you can give them Drilled, which is a fantastic ability, and they've got Stubborn. So, and they've got a 6-up ward. So the and. There is a lot of ands here. So basically, you're probably going to take full plate and Drilled, right? So they're 20 points each. So, if you've got a unit of 10 Chaos Warriors, that's 130. You can afford 6 Chosen for every 10, more or less. And I think the marks, it's +2 points each. So, but these then basically have a 3-up save and a 6-up ward, which compares with these guys having a 4-up save. So they are quite a bit more survivable, but not massively so. So yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult really. It's difficult to work out what to do. I mean, I don't know. In my list at the moment, I've got 2 units of Chaos Warriors. I could take a unit of Chosen Chaos Warriors and a unit of Marauders instead. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that really. Speaking of which, Marauders, they're cheap, but not that cheap, because they've got decent weapon skill and decent initiative for like a Boggo standard unit. They've got Shield Wall and Warband, so their rank bonus is added to their leadership, but they don't have Horde, so they can only go up to a rank bonus of 2. So if you got the Marauder Chieftain, they're basically leadership 9, going back to the characters, if you put an aspiring champion in there, they essentially become leadership 10 with 2 ranks. So they're pretty decent. And they've got shield wall, so what that means is if they should be falling back in good order, they can just get pushed back instead. So that's really, really useful. This is shield wall is, I think it's if you've been charged, and I think that's also once per battle maybe. Is it once per battle, or is it just you've got to be charged, or both? Once per game during a turn in which it was charged, yeah. But again, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's weird that Marauders have that and Chaos Warriors seem to have lost it as they've got better. So yeah, they can become skirmishers or replace close order with open order for free. So, that's pretty useful. Yeah, they can have great weapons or flails. I think if you're going to do an upgrade, you're going to go flails, aren't you? Because flails are like +2 strength AP2 in the first round of combat. And I think that then makes them... can't spell flail. That then makes them just AP2. There you go. So you get that strength modified during the first round of combat, but they do keep the AP2 in subsequent rounds, so AP2 is pretty good. It is two-handed though, so if you've taken shields, you've just lost your shield, so it's probably light armor and flails is the option, but you could do light armor and shields, but they don't have ensorcelled weapons, so they're not going to hit very hard. Forsaken are excellent. They're quite expensive. They're more or less the same cost as Chosen. They do have Chaos Armor 5, so they've got a 5 at Ward, which is pretty good. They've got an extra point of move, which, meh. Their initiative's lower, weapon skill's a bit lower. They've got to have sort of a mark. Well, they've got to have the opposite of a mark, I suppose. But anyway, Khorne have Hatred, which is reroll hits in the first round of combat. Nurgle has Fear. Slaanesh gets Swift Stride. Swift Stride that's brilliant, I think, because that means they're going to be getting into combat way more regularly. Your maximum charge is a 6, right? And you're likely to get like a 4 as a good reliable metric is add 4 to your move, and that's probably what your charge is going to be, unless you've got Swift Stride, in which case you're going to be getting your max 9 pretty reliably, unless you roll badly. So their charge then becomes like 14, which is way better than the 9. And Tzeentch gives magic resist 3. Again, that depends on your opponent, but if you're tailoring your list to combat your opponent, I wouldn't do that, because it's not really fair, because you can, they are impetuous, so if they're within 14 inches of something, they've got to roll dice, and then they might charge. So on a 4+ they don't have to, on a 1-3 they have to. They've got the ensorcelled weapons again, which is essentially their hand weapons, so they're AP1 magical. They get +1 attack on the charge, immune to psychology. The loners, so characters can't join them. Open order means they move around quite flexibly, but they don't really get ranks. Rampant mutation, so at the start of combat you roll the dice, so they either get poison attacks, AP2 or killing blow, all of which are good. Considering they get random attacks, D3, so you roll that per model. So if you got like 5 in the fighting rank, you roll 5 D3, and that's your number of attacks, +5 if you've charged. Oh, and they're stubborn as well, so the first time they lose a combat, they can just decide to not roll. Let's just fall back in good order. I don't know how stubborn interacts with being outnumbered, actually. Let's have a quick check of that, because it's important that we know these rules. Oh god. Oh no. Regimental psychology for regimental. Okay, yeah. Oh, you can give stubborn with a special with a banner. Sorry, I just thought I should probably do it with my Chaos Warriors, shouldn't I? It's quite expensive, but it's probably worth it if I've taken a big block of Chosen. I've already got it. Shut up, Dan. Right. The first time it's required to, it can choose not to and automatically fall back, even if the unit strength is more than twice that of the losing side. That is a really good rule, actually, isn't it? Because, like, even if you get absolutely spanked, as long as you've got, like, some body left, you can hold them up a bit. So, yeah, stubborn's really useful, I think. I think stubborn's one of those rules that everybody's going to be looking for. You've then got some monstrous infantry with Chaos Ogres. They're ogres, but chaosy. Pretty good. They do impact hits. The AP of the impact hits is based on the rank bonus, so up to AP 2 with that. They've got Armor Bane 1. They can give them marks as well, which is pretty good, so you can give them Frenzy, which is awesome. And they cause fear, obviously, because they're quite scary. But yeah, marks aren't massively expensive for them as well. They don't have ensorcelled weapons, so you are going to want to upgrade them. Probably to great weapons, because their initiative's rubbish anyway, so strength 6, AP 2, like 4 attacks with Frenzy. Sounds quite nasty, really, doesn't it? And Armor Bane 1. And I think great weapons... Do great weapons... No, it's Lances that have got Armor Bane 1, isn't it? Let's just check. Great weapon... Oh, they do have Armor Bane 1. Good lord. Do Lances not have it then? Or am I... No, they do have Armor Bane 1. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So they effectively have, like, armor... Or is Armor Bane one of those things where if there's 2 of it, then they don't stack? Armor Bane. Yeah, I think they don't stack. You just have Armor Bane 1 twice. That would make sense. So maybe additional hand weapons. I don't know. Depends what you want. Chaos Trolls are trolls, but chaosy. They've got Armor Bane, hand weapons, decent amount of attacks, good strength, good toughness, pretty good move. Cause fear, but they are flammable and have regen. So what that means is if you hit with flaming weapons, you don't get your regen save. They've got light armor and that's it. So they can vomit, which is a combat thing. This must be made last after all other attacks, including stomp, but it hits automatically. So, I mean, strength 3, AP 2 is good, strength 3 is not so good, but it's an automatic hit, so I don't know, 9's your maximum. I don't know about them, I'm not sure. Chaos Spawn, sort of cool, but 2d6 each move is not very much. So Spawn of Slaanesh gets strike first, which means they're in initiative 10 in combat. They have Armor Bane 2, random number of attacks, random move. Random move is good because you can't stand and shoot against it. So they move in the compulsory moves phase. So if they happen to get into combat, you don't get your charge reactions against them. So they're useful for that, but like, not really sure what else they're useful for. You'd probably want them in units of 1 to give them like maximum flexibility and stuff. Yeah. So killing blow, poison attacks, strike first. You know, the different upgrades cost differently. Because flaming and magical is nowhere near as good as killing blow. Is nowhere near as good as strike first. So yeah, I'm not sold on them. Toughness 5, 3 wounds is pretty good, and heavy armor is okay. But then moving on to cavalry, Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights are cool. They're Chaos Warriors on steeds. So the thing about Chaos Steeds is they're pretty decent in combat, but they have strength 4, so that's quite nice. They can have marks. They get first charge, which wipes out rank bonuses on the first charge. But that's the first charge they make. So if they fail their first charge, they've lost the rule. But they got Swift Stride. I like Khorne on them because you're going to want to charge anyway. Chosen Chaos Knights are better because they've got extra attack. You can also give them Drilled. You can also give them Full Plate, which you'll obviously do. They've also got a 6 at Ward, and they have Counter Charge. Now, annoyingly, Chaos Steed does not have Counter Charge. So if you put a Lord on a Chaos Steed, you can't put them in Chosen. Well, you can, but if you do, you lose the Counter Charge rule. And Counter Charge is amazing. So I don't know why you do that. They are stubborn. Which again is very useful. Marauder Horse are pretty much what you'd expect. They've got Fire and Flee. They've got Fast Cav. Fast Cav means they can do their open order pivot even if they march. They're skirmishers, so you can deploy them as skirmishers or in open order. They got Swift Stride, and they got Warband, which means their rank bonus is added to their leadership. So you could take 15 of them, which is, again, pretty cool. Yeah, they got cavalry spears, throwing spears. They can have throwing axes and javelins. What do those look like? What's the difference? Missile weapons. Throwing weapon. So this one is march and shoot. It's not move and shoot. Move and shoot means march and shoot. So javelins, throwing axes don't get march and shoot. They do get quick shot. Quick shot means you can always stand and shoot regardless of how far away stuff is, and you don't suffer negative movement penalty for moving. So throwing weapon is strength, short range, but you get 2 shots. So that's what throwing spear is, I suppose. Throwing axe is there and javelins are there. So javelins slightly larger, 3 more inches range, but they've lost multiple shots. So arguably throwing weapons are better than javelins, I'd have thought. And throwing axe would put it up to strength 4, wouldn't it? Yep. But no AP still. So yeah, throwing weapons look the best, to be honest. So throwing spears, because javelin, yeah, weird. May take. Oh, I see. So if you take throwing spears, you can't take cavalry spears. Right. Or flails, but you can take flails and javelins, for instance. Huh. I mean, considering they're probably going to be pretty naff in combat anyway, I'd be tempted just to take the throwing spears, to be honest. And then, are you going to give them a mark? Probably not, because Undivided means you get to reroll Panic, Fear and Terror, which is probably more useful than any of the others for them. I was spending a lot of time on Marauder Horsemen. I don't even like them. I don't take them. Warhounds are great because they're cheap. Unit of 5, 30 points. I've got 3 units of 5 in my list just to sort of screen my army. So they're going to die, but you can take a Warhound handler, but they're not good enough that it really, you can basically make them leadership 8, which is what the Warhound handler does. Which, I mean, yeah, maybe. Chaos Chariots are great. Big, heavy chariots. Not tremendously expensive. Decent amount of wounds. Excellent armor save. Yeah, they're pretty good. Do a decent amount of impact hits. They'd be strength 5, AP 2, because it's a heavy chariot. So, yeah, that's pretty good. and the charioteers have halberd, so you got 2 attacks with strength 4 AP 1, which is again pretty good. I'm not sure you'd want to give it a mark actually, because Khorne means you got to charge when you don't want to sometimes. Nurgle, +1 initiative, not really that much of an issue. No, I think you wouldn't bother with the mark, because what you don't want is somebody like running through it and then the thing bloody panicking and running away. Gorbeast chariots are like chariots but slower by an inch. They go an inch slower, and they do an extra impact hit, and they have a Gorbeast, which is like a beast with more attacks and stuff. Again, I prefer the normal chariot, to be honest. But if you got lots of chariots, like if you're going to go chariot heavy, 2 chariots and a Gorbeast chariot is like a third option, is probably pretty good. So like a Gorbeast chariot with Khorne to give the Gorbeast an extra attack is that's pretty good, because he's got killing blow. So if you roll 6 to wound, they don't get an armor save, so that's pretty good. Armor Bane, therefore, because of killing blow, really only works on monsters. So against monsters, a 6 to wound is AP 1, whereas against infantry, it just kills them. Killing blow is seriously good, because if you're in combat with like a foot character, you can just allocate the killing blow, the Gorbeast to the foot character. It's pity they don't have Furious Charge as well, but that'll be a bit much. So we talked about Manticore, talked about Chaos Dragon. You got a monster which is a Chimera. It's got Fly 10, so it's pretty quick. It gets around a bit. It's got a flaming weapon that's all right. Yeah, I mean, it's not great for 180 points. I suppose it's like a 180 point terror causing thing, but it's difficult to see how you could really wield that on the table. Hell Cannons, I love the model. I love the lore and how they work in theory. I loved them in Total War Warhammer. I think they're brilliant in that. They're you if you're taking chaos, you need probably a couple of Hell Cannons in every stack. But on the tabletop, they're not very good, because during the start of turn subphase, you've got to take a leadership test. So, and if you fail the leadership test, you got to go for it basically just causes a misfire. So there's 2 opportunities to have a misfire every single turn. Now granted, one of them's but the thing is, the leadership 9, so like rolling a 10 or over on 2d6 is a bit like rolling a 6. So it's like rolling a 1. So it's like at the start of turn, roll a dice, and on a 1 you have to roll on a misfire, which is the same odds as rolling an actual misfire. So again, you've just got 2 opportunities to misfire for no particular reason. It does have, though, strength 5 AP 2 in the blast radius and strength 10 AP 5. It is only D3 wounds in the hull, though, which is a bit weird. Yeah. And the misfire table is horrendous. So, like, essentially everything within about 10 inches takes D6 strength 5 hits AP 1. So, remember, it's going to be at the back of your army, pretty much. It is quite nasty in combat, so there is an argument to, like, put it at the front, actually, maybe. But, or, yeah, I mean, I don't like that misfire table. I don't like the rule. I don't like the fact that it can, because the thing is, in Total War Warhammer, it's like it tracks the target, like the shell that it fires goes and is more accurate than most other things. So, yeah, I don't like these rules, which is annoying because it's pretty good. It should be better, I think. The damage output needs to be better. If it was a 5-inch blast template, maybe. Or yeah. Or if you got to re-roll the scatter dice or something, then maybe it'd be worth it. But as it stands, it's just a slightly better stone thrower for like an extra 100 points. It's like, what's the point? So we got these Gifts of Chaos. They're all pretty characterful. The one that I really like is this one, Enchanting Aura, which basically means any enemy units engaged in combat with this character cannot use Strike First special rule. Enemy models that do not have Strike First special rule become subject to Strike Last. So it deletes Strike First, and if you don't already have Strike First, then you become subject to Strike Last. So that's Enchanting Aura is great. Yeah. +1 attack for 40 points isn't good. Demon Flesh, I mean, people aren't going to be wounding you on 2s in general anyway, so like that's not Dark Majesty's pretty good if you've got it on like a Manticore or a Dragon, because you can charge like smaller chaff units and make them just break with this. And there's a banner as well that's like -1 to leadership, so you could make them like -2 leadership. So if you're charging like so basically every turn you can charge it a chaff unit and panic it off, redirect your charge into something else. So that's pretty good. So then you got the magic weapons, Demon Sword. It's pretty good. Extra attacks. It's got a Strike First. So you don't need Diabolic Splendor. But anyway, the problem with the Demon Sword is if you roll a 1 to hit, the hit is resolved against the unit the wielder's joined. So you're probably killing your own troops if you've got Demon Sword. So that's not great. Strength plus D3. So you could, considering the Gifts of Chaos, you could be like strength 9 with like 9 attacks. So that could make you absolutely terrifying. But like, yeah. Chaos Rune Sword's pretty good because you get +1 weapon skill and initiative, so that's useful. Strength, then essentially becomes better AP1. It's like, the thing is though, like with ensorcelled weapons, right, you've already got AP on all of your stuff. Your characters all have AP1 already because of ensorcelled weapons. So like, that's not really a benefit. What you're paying 45 points for, and they've already got magical attacks, right? So what you're paying 45 points for is something that's strength +1 weapon skill +1 initiative. Is that really worth 45 points? I'm not sure. I think the AP of these magic weapons is too low, if anything, because it's not. I mean, that's a significant upgrade, the Demon Sword. However, there is a downside to it as well. It's not like, it's not like the Bretonnian Super Lance of Mega Killy Death. It's, which has got AP3, by the way. You got the Filth Mace. Like, I'm not really sure what it's for. Because, so you hit an enemy model, suffers 1 or more wounds, immediately make a toughness test. If it's failed, wounded model is -1 toughness until the end of the turn. Like, so that's the end of your turn. So the -1 toughness if you've got another unit that this character's in. So this character's in a unit with this thing. It's got a higher initiative and it's gone first and it's got a wound through, and then somehow they failed a toughness test and that's put their toughness down 1. Like, I mean, is it really worth it? I don't think so. Again, you're going for a weapon that just gives you +1 strength for 40 points, and then maybe this other thing. It's not really worth it. Spell thieving sword is a wizard. Like your chaos characters, right? If they're able to combat a wizard, right? You're probably just going to kill it. Like, this is a dragon mage. This might be useful against, but like, when are you going to meet one that makes this worth take? Do you know what I mean? Like, because literally that's what you're paying for. Because Ensorcelled Weapons gives you that already, so you've already got that. So like, what's, you know? Armour of the Damned is a full plate armor, which is 70 points. So that means only lords can take it. So they've already got full plate. You're making enemy models reroll successful to hit rolls against the wearer, which, oh, pardon me, is, you know, pretty good, but like, there's a, because the thing is, and this, it feels like they wrote the chaos magic weapons after. Or maybe that was one of the first things they wrote. Because, like, where's the bloody magic weapons in here? I'm sure it was towards the end, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. It's further on. Because you got this thing, right? Bedazzling Helm, right? So, improves your armor by 1 to a maximum of 2. So, you know, if you're a Chaos Lord, right? This means that you don't have to take a shield, and you can take a great weapon, and you can still have a 2-up save, or you can have a shield and you can be on a Manticore, and then this is how you get your 2-up save, right? You're then -1 to hit, so most people are going to be hitting you on 4s, if not 5s. That's going to be the most common. Hardly anybody's hitting you on 3s. Bedazzling Helm giving you a -1 to hit means that people are probably hitting you on 5s or 6s. Those are and then you can give yourself a Mark of Nurgle, which means they've got to re-roll 6s to hit. So most things are hitting you on 5s or 6s, and they're re-rolling 6s to hit. So most things are just not hitting you. Re-roll hits is like not that good in comparison with, because Mark of Nurgle and this is going to cost 70 points. So what do you want? +1 save and all that, you know, and all that jazz, or reroll, you know, I'm not sure about that. Crimson Armour of Dargan makes you immune to multiple wounds. Like, again, why isn't it multiple wounds and killing blow? If it was immune to killing blow, it might be worthwhile, but it's only heavy armour, so you're losing armour save if you're a lord, so it's not, you know, if it was full plate, you might see some of the lower tier characters take it. But like, Crown of Everlasting Conquest is wicked. 5+ regenerate, that's great. Brazen Collar, magic resist 2. Now, if you're taking a Khorne heavy army, you're probably going to see every single character with a Brazen Collar. Because then you can put them in units, give the units magic resist 2. Banner of the Gods, ignore all negative modifiers to leadership. That doesn't apply to break tests, so meh. Doom Totem's alright. All enemy units that can draw line of sight to the model carrying the Doom Totem suffer -1 to their leadership, which, you know, again, is alright, but like, how are you going to use that? Blast is standard. You're going to see that on some Chosen Knights, because they've got 2-up save, 2-up reroll 1s. It's great. Banner of Rage is the unit is always frenzied, even if it's lost a round of combat. So, you know, that's pretty cool. Pendant of Damnation you would see taken, apart from the fact it's infantry or cavalry. So a lord on a monstrous, on a demon steed, has 6 wounds, so you can get +5 attacks off that, which is, you know, pretty good. Helm of Many Eyes is a classic. Favour of the Gods you're going to see quite a lot. Skull of Catan you're probably going to do. You're probably going to... No, not Skull of Catan. What is it? Infernal Puppet you're probably going to see. And Spell Familiar, I think that one's pretty much a must-take, to be honest. So yeah, I think that's about it. That's the Forces of Chaos. So yeah, I hope this has been useful. Do you know, actually, I've got a bit of time before we're up to the hour, so what I'm going to do is show you my list as it is at the moment. So I've got a Chaos Lord. I've given him a lance. He's got full plate. He's got a shield. He hasn't got a mark. He's on a Manticore. He's got Crown of Everlasting Conquest. So he's got that strike first, strike last thing. He's got that 5-up regen. He's got the I can re-roll on the Table of the Gods. This old world builder is brilliant, right? They've even started doing this now, so you can. It just brings up the rules. You know, which is great. And it, like, yeah, it's. I mean, considering this has been built for free, it's so good. So that's my general. Then I've got a Sorcerer Lord who's unmounted. He's got a Spell Familiar. I haven't quite got 5 points spare. I've got an Exalted Champion who's the Battle Standard Bearer. Mark and Urgle, Battle Standard Bearer, blah blah blah. He's just got Favour of the Gods, so I'm not giving him a banner. 15 warriors to go with so Nurgle to go with the BSB, 15 warriors with Tzeentch to go with the Tzeentch guy, 2 units of 5 Chaos Knights with Khorne, 3 units of Warhounds, 2 of which have Vanguard, another unit of Warhounds, some Chosen Knights, and that's it. So it's a very kind of utilitarian, you know, kind of thing. So that's my list at the moment. Anyway, I mean, I don't really know what to do, to be honest. It's quite difficult writing a chaos list because you can never really take everything that you want to take. But yeah, although a big block of 20 chosen, that is quite appealing. In fact, there's the chosen models there, but I really don't like these metal chosen models. They're just too horny. There's too much going on. I think they're too busy. Whereas I really like these Chaos Warriors. I really like the old Chaos Warriors because it looks like an implacable like column of steel. Which, you know, and which is why I think they need full plate, because they look like they should have like a 2-up save, really. So yeah, I am tempted actually to take a big unit of Chosen Knights, a big unit of Chosen Warriors, and then like, oh yeah, that's the other thing I didn't mention, right? So you are allowed Dragon Ogres and Shaggoth and a Chaos Giant. So where are they? So Dragon Ogres are great, you know, 4 wounds, light armor. I think you can give them heavy armor, which for 3 points you're going to, really, aren't you? Yeah, so they're just fantastic. You can give them great weapons, so like strength 7, AP 2, all those attacks. You can't give them marks, which is a bit annoying. They've got this rule called the Quickening Storm, which that's in the special rules for these guys, which is, I can't remember what it does, to be honest. 5 at ward against magic missiles or magic vortexes. So if it takes hits from Stormcore, see page 104, which is a magic missile, all units within 6 of this model take D3 strength 4 hits. Does this also have... This does have the Quickening Storm itself. Huh. It's a bound spell, power level 1, cast on a 7. So it's not amazingly reliable. But anyway, so if he gets hit by that, what happens? Gets +1 initiative and attack and attacks. Wow. Huh. Shaggoths are great as well. Like 6 wound monster with. I'm sure you can give it heavy. Yeah, give it heavy armor. You can give it mutations. You can even give it magic items as well. So you can put this with mutations and magic items in a chaos. So, I think I'm going to do that. I need to get myself a Shaggoth, don't I? So what mutation can I give it? Yeah, -1 to hit slug skin is great. On a Shaggoth, -1 to hit in combat. Oof. Ooh, suit you, sir. +1 attack. Must be made with an ordinary hand weapon. That's weird. AP improved by 1. That's good. -1 to hit in shooting. I think. Oh, it's characters only. It's not a character. Yeah, I think Gouge Tusks is. I think that's the way to go, isn't it? Because -1 to hit in shooting just makes it a bit more survivable. Considering it doesn't get because it's got large target, it doesn't get cover ever. You know, it's got armor bane 2. Give it a great weapon. So strength 8 effectively, 5 attacks, strength 8. If it gets this spell off, that's 6 attacks. Yeah, what magic items can you give it? You can give it magic, so you can give it like the standard magic items. So you can give it like a 5-up ward, talisman of protection. Oh my god, that is disgusting. Oh my god, that is. Oh, oof. Or you could give it a full plate armor. Ooh. Magic resistance and. Oh, I'm getting so many ideas. What else can you give it? Single. You can give it 5-up ward. Is anything like? No, you can't use that. Oh no, primal. Does it get primal fury then as well? No, it doesn't have primal fury. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a goer, isn't it? Really. Get a Shaggoth. Oh, you can, and also obviously you can take a Chaos Giant. There we go. Which is just same as a giant. So you can do all these giant attacks, but you have to roll randomly for them, and they're pretty cool. Yeah, so I think I'm going to buy a Shaggoth. But anyway, and that's the conclusion of this video. Dan needs to get down to his friendly local gaming store and pick up a Shaggoth. Cool. Anyway, well, thanks for listening to me ramble on for another hour about my favourite faction. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff if you want. It's up to you. It's your mouse or thumb. And I'll catch you around at the next one, whatever it is. Probably talk about orcs and goblins next.